what this is, but it's kind of hot. Wow.
So, the GameStop short squeeze was a thing that recently happened, and I want to talk about it. We essentially witnessed history in the making here, where a choice group of internet people, still fueled with rage from the economic crash of '08, banded together to essentially erect a giant middle finger to the fat cat corporate overlords down on Wall Street. This video isn't going to be focusing on what happened exactly, but rather why it happened, as you might have gathered from reading the title. That being said, let's do a quick rundown anyway to catch everyone up to speed. In 1999, the American video game retailer GameStop came into existence, bringing joy to millions of millennial nerds all across the country. But 17 years later, in 2016, the company started to see a decline in public interest, mainly due to the digitization of video game sales. I mean, why go to a store to buy your video games if you can just get them online, and cheaper at that? And though GameStop did eventually fade from the spotlight of our collective attention, it did still hold a sentimental place in the heart of its patrons, as we'll come to see. Enter 2021. The year everyone pinned their hopes and dreams on after the gigantic train wreck of a dumpster fire that was 2020. The lockdowns were meant to end, businesses reopen, and never mind. It's just the same thing all over again, never mind. Anyway, in January, the internet caught wind that a bunch of Wall Street hedge funds, the same group of people who were somewhat responsible for the crash in '08, were making massive financial bets that the stock price of GameStop would continue to fall. In other words, they shorted GameStop. The internet did not like this, and responded by banding together and throwing their literal life savings into buying enormous quantities of GameStop stock, jacking the share prices of the beloved video games company sky high, which in turn caused the evil hedge funds who shorted GameStop to lose billions in the process. In short, big bad guys on Wall Street try to kill off GameStop and make money off its slow and painful death. Internet nerds retaliate, sell their houses to buy GameStop stock, and cause evil villain Wall Street guys to lose a crap ton of money. Now you must be thinking, what the hell must have been going through the mind of these individual investors to be willing to put so much on the line for this movement? Well, that's exactly what we're going to be talking about today in this video. But before we get into all the good stuff, I'd like to humbly ask you to please smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. It really does help a small channel like me out tremendously. Alright, with that being said, let's get on with the video. After doing some digging, I managed to boil down the massive support behind the GameStop short squeeze into two main components. Let's start with... Alright, we can all just admit it. 2020 was kind of a dull year, and 2021 is looking to be pretty much the same. Everyone all across the world is generally stuck inside with nothing but idle time on their hands. People want to do something, anything, to quell the depressing boredom that just seems to be part and parcel of our new normal. And guess what? For a lot of people, GameStop was just what they needed. Now, note that it wasn't just plain boredom that got millions of people to throw their retirement funds into buying GameStop stock. No. It just set the stage. A big contributor to the GameStop rush was the nostalgia factor of the brand. As we mentioned before, GameStop is a rather sentimental name for a lot of millennials. It's a special place, typically associated with excitement and wonder, because let's face it, when it's buying video games as a 10-year-old, not exciting and fun. So when the internet caught wind that big bad Wall Street, the same Wall Street that kinda ruined their financial lives back in '08, was also trying to take down their childhood paradise for the sake of cold hard cash, they justifiably felt an emotional compulsion to do something. It also helps that buying GameStop was seen as somewhat of a get-rich-quick scheme, with many people spreading around the idea that the stock was going to the moon and back. Let's not beat around the bush here. Money is a big motivator for why people do the things that they do. For a lot of people, it's a gateway to living their dreams. And when you constantly hear 9 million people tell you in unison that your dreams can come true overnight, that's hard to resist. This, in combination with the frantically climbing share prices of GameStop, created an illusion of scarcity surrounding the stock. Better buy now while it's still cheap. Who knows how high it'll be next week, right? So, all these factors together get people buying in, and when people start buying in, it begins. Herd mentality is a dangerous thing. Formally, it's a tendency for people's behaviors or beliefs to conform to that of the group of which they belong. Think of it like this. If you're surrounded by a group of internet people singing the praises of buying into GameStop, then guess what? Unless you hold your own firm beliefs on the matter, you'll slowly but surely start thinking more and more like these people too. And in this case, the message you'll eventually adopt is simple. Buy GameStop. And if we repeat this process many times, what we end up with is GameStop mania, spreading like a virus through the population of unsuspecting millennials, using social groups as a vehicle to spread its ideology and absorbing people into its herd. This process of being absorbed into the GameStop herd, or any herd for that matter, is also made a lot smoother thanks to a few psychological factors. When you do something naughty alone, it's pretty easy to get caught out. And it's precisely this fear of you getting reprimanded that prevents you from doing said naughty thing. But when you're in a group with 9 million other people, an anonymous internet group no less, this fear is suppressed almost entirely, giving you the feeling of safety to take whatever action you previously wouldn't. And to make things even easier, once you get assimilated into the group, you also enjoy... Social proof is a relatively simple but extremely powerful concept. Essentially, it's the belief that if everyone's doing it, then it must be good. This concept is pretty universal in the world of human psychology. We use it all the time in our day-to-day lives, from making shopping decisions to finding love. So, when you have 9 million people all cramming social proof down your throat by yelling at you to buy GameStop, you're more likely to go along with it. It also doesn't help that the platform used to coordinate this counterattack on Wall Street was a subreddit. If you didn't already know, subreddits are pages where people can vote on posts. Posts that get upvoted a lot get shown to more people, while posts that get ignored or downvoted get buried and never see the light of day. This is a problem because social proof is effectively skewed on a website like this. Because we humans like excitement, we tend to upvote sensationalized success stories while downvoting or at least ignoring all of the boring naysayers. This in turn causes even more social proof for the users of the subreddit because all they're gonna see on the front page are success stories and more posts about how people need to buy and hold GameStop until it hits the edge of the observable universe. The GameStop cause was also so easy to get behind because of how it was portrayed. The narrative that we're presented with on Reddit and social media was a very us versus them, the people versus the 1%, David versus Goliath style kind of battle, understandably inciting feelings of factionism, or tribalism. We had a clear, hateable target to channel all our collective contempt towards: fat cat Wall Street hedge funds. You can find echoes of this anger in the comments section of the subreddit r/wallstreetbets. While scrolling through, I found many compelling stories from real people about how the economic collapse in '08, which was supposedly fueled by Wall Street, ruined lives, tore families apart, and caused so many to become homeless and fall into the depths of depression. These highly emotional stories that were made publicly available for everyone to see further aided in demonizing Wall Street and shaping the narrative that investing in GameStop was the right thing to do, as it would be some form of retribution against the tyrannical hedge funds which already knocked down so many. In the public eye, what the Wall Street big shots did in '08 was unfair, plain and simple. And we humans generally don't take too kindly to unfairness. According to current research, children as young as the age of 6 already learn the value of fairness and will even often elect to incur a personal cost to themselves if it means others will be treated more fairly. So, when we see big-time corporate managers stuff their pockets at the expense of the unsuspecting, hard-working man, it really riles people up. The last factor that made GameStop so conceptually easy to buy into was the presence of heroes, or religious icons heralding the cause. Let me explain. When I say religious icon, I don't mean that Jesus himself came down to spread the good word about GameStonk, but close. Many big and recognizable names like Elon Musk, richest man in the world by the way, and Mark Cuban, that guy from Shark Tank, publicly voiced their support for the ideological battle. And the more big names you have supporting your cause, the less convincing it'll take for spectators to hop on the bandwagon as well. Alright, so what does this mean for us? What exactly does the future hold now? Well, for one, everyday people now know that if they band together and coordinate, they have the power to move markets, even just as individual investors. The people aren't powerless anymore against the maniacal machinations of Wall Street, and can retaliate if they put their minds to it. Will this newfound power be a force to be reckoned with? Or will Wall Street find a way to shut the people down once again? Or will the bridge of trust propped up by 9 million anonymous Redditors collapse on its own accord because of sellouts and traitors within? Let me know what you think will happen down in the comments. I read every single one of them and will most likely reply, because I'm a huge nerd and in desperate need of social interaction. That's it for this video, guys. Thanks so much for watching. If you like the content, please be sure to smash the like button and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time.